versus them not recording, correct?
I'm sorry, what was
Let me ask that again, I'm sorry. So
No,
since
it's
you
okay.
didn't know they were recording it, it would be impossible for you to know when they began recording it, correct?
Right.
So you can't tell the members of this jury whether or not prior to the beginning of this recording that they discussed stapling the money together, correct?
Correct.
Now you were with Charlie Adelson from October of 2015
Yes.
until June of 2016.
17.
I'm sorry, 17. Almost a 2-year relationship, correct?
Yes.
And it was your testimony that you would spend almost every night at his house, correct?
Yes.
During this 2 years, did you ever see him smoke marijuana?
Yes.
Did you ever see him take any kind of bodybuilding supplements?
No.
You know he went to a gym, correct?
Yes.
He would work out?
Would I work out or?
I'm sorry, no.
I'm sorry.
He would work out, right?
Yes, he has stuff in his house, like a gym, a home gym.
Did he have a gym that he would go to, like a membership gym?
Yes.
And would it be safe to say that Charlie Adelson had a wide spectrum of friends, correct?
Yes.
Would it also be safe to say that Charlie Adelson, I don't know if this would be a correct designation, but he frequented nightclubs?
Not, like, what do you mean by frequent?
Did he go to nightclubs in South Beach?
He went to nightclubs, it wasn't specifically South Beach when I was with him.
So he would go to nightclubs in multiple areas of South Florida. Would that be a better generalization?
Honestly, when I was with him, he didn't go to clubs like a lot. We went to Vegas one time and we went there to clubs and to Miami once and like maybe Fort Lauderdale, but it wasn't frequent enough like that, so.
And you began dating him in 2015, correct?
Yes.
So you don't know what his frequency of going out to nightclubs was in, let's say, 2013?
Right.
Or 2014, correct?
Yes.
And you also wouldn't know whether or not he was doing cocaine in 2013, correct?
Right.
Or 2014, correct?
Yes.
But he did smoke weed in front of you.
Yes.
Did you smoke it with him?
I have, yes.
Now, you ended your relationship with him because he was cheating on you, right?
That was the primary reason, yes.
So he was withholding things from you, correct?
Right. We were on a break and got back together and found out
That he got another girl
girl pregnant. Right.
Now, the prosecutor asked you if if you were ever introduced to any gang members by Mr. Adelson, correct?
Yes.
Now, you don't know if you knew any gang members in 2013, correct?
Right.
You don't know if you knew any gang members in 2014, correct?
Correct.
The only information you can give this jury is what occurred in your relationship, which started in October of 2015. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with regards to the fact that Mr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson, had gotten another female pregnant, you were hurt by that, correct?
Of course.
And when the police spoke to you on that interview in summer of 2018, the police told you about the stapled money, correct?
They told me about it?
Right.
No, because when they showed up, they were conversating with me, so it was mentioned. It was during a bad time when we weren't together that they testimonied me. So.
Okay, so did they bring up the stapling of the money? They did, right? The police? Let me rephrase it. Did they ask you about stapled money?
They asked me, yes, about.
You didn't bring it up on your own, right?
Right.
You said that you spoke to Mr. Adelson yesterday?
Yes.
Was he gonna ask you about your testimony today?
Objection,
No.
hearsay.
She's already answered.
The answer's
Find
no?
the objections untimely, but I sustain those objections for further purposes. You can move on, Ms. Sanguine.
Yes, Judge, give me a minute.
You may.
I have no further questions of this witness, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Do you have any children?
No.
You were asked questions about cash inside of the house. You remember that, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, Charles Adelson was a generous guy, right?
Yes.
In fact, at one point you explained in your statement how you had counted the money because he would give loans to people, to friends.
He helped out friends and gave loans. I didn't physically count the money he gave out to them, no.
Fair enough. But you knew that he would lend out money to people that needed it and they would pay him back.
He's told me, yes.
Help me understand this a little bit. The law enforcement came and spoke to you at one point in time. You remember that, right?
Yes.
And this would be July 24th of 2018, if you remember.
Right.
It was investigator Sherry Bennett of the Tallahassee Police Department. Is that correct?
Yes.
And an FBI agent,
Yes.
Patrick Sanford.
Yes, I have their cards. I can't quote their exact names, I'm sorry, but I believe that's them.
Was the agent medium height, shaved head?
Yes.
Now, you had said, I don't know if it was on cross-examination or direct examination, that they had banged on your door before?
Multiple times a prosecutor or whoever came to my residence would knock and repeatedly come back, you know.
You didn't open the door though, right?
Well, no, a few times I wasn't home. My roommate was, and then another time, no, I never caught them like at my place and opened the door, no.
If you can explain to this jury, in Miami, somebody bangs on your door, possibly a couple of men, are you quickly opening that door, or are you concerned to open that door in Miami?
Well, definitely concerned. They actually just did it to me to come here. So a day or so ago, they were banging at 6 a.m. and I was sleeping, so.
For you to come here today?
Yeah, then I got block calls, like calling me, so I didn't know, you know, who was behind the door. And I have a guard at the gate and they didn't call me. So I was really worried.
It's scary
Yes.
for a woman. And in Miami, it's an even more scary thing, because there's a lot of threats out there in Miami, right?
I guess in South Florida, anywhere, yes.
Two strange men come banging on your door, you're concerned and may not answer the door. Fair?
Just any banging, yes, would be a concern to me.
Agent Patrick Sanford, investigator Sherry Bennett, they sit down with you to talk to you. Isn't it true that they told you you're not being recorded, this is all going to be confidential, nobody will know about it?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
And then later in time you find out that you were in fact being recorded.
Yes, I believe when I spoke, I had to do another testimony, and that person told me.
So law enforcement can in fact secretively record you, if they want.
They did, yes.
Let's change gears, talk about Charles Adelson and his work. What did he do for work?
He was a periodontist, or he
No.
is a periodontist.
Would you have termed him a traveling periodontist, that he went to different locations, that he was routinely at different locations?
Primarily, yes.
Now, you were in a relationship with him, and you explained it kind of off and on between October 2015 and June of 2017. Did
Yes.
you get familiar with his work practice?
With the Adelson Institute, or with his schedule, you mean?
Schedule's the better way to say it.
Yes, of course.
would he be at the Adelson Institute every day, 8 o'clock in the morning there until 5, or was he all over South Florida?
He was all over. He had appointments at different offices. He stopped in his frequently as well, if needed.
Now let's talk about Miss Magbanua. You were asked questions about whether she did or didn't work for Charles Adelson.
Yes.
Do you just not know the answer to that question?
No, I mean, when I was with him, we never spoke about Catherine working for him. I didn't even know who she was. So during that time, I didn't know. Right now, obviously, I know he mentioned that she did.
Yeah.
So, and his parents said she did. So,
You having been his girlfriend at the time, would you think that there may be objection if you had found out that his ex-girlfriend was working for him? That could maybe cause a problem?
maybe.
Do you think it's reasonable that he would say, hey, I'm not going to share this with her. She may be upset that Catherine's working for me, Miss Magbanua?
Maybe, yes.
Let's talk about his friends. It's my understanding that after this case hit the media, that he had some falling out with a lot of his friends. Is that correct?
Yes.
But he kept a few of them, a few friends. He maintained a few of them, right?
Are you talking about at this moment or, within the last 2 years or so?
All I have to go based on is your statement in July of 2018, correct? Well, my question is this. Was Sully one of the friends that he maintained?
Yes.
Do you know Sully?
Yes.
He's a mechanic, right?
Yes, he was. He just sold his business, so he's doing something else now.
And that business was the eco-friendly body shop.
Correct.
What does he do now?
He got another position and moved to Orlando. I'm not 100% what the title is.
When you met with law enforcement in July of 2018, you said that you were mad at Charles Adelson.
Yes.
And that may have influenced what you said when you were meeting with law enforcement.
Definitely. I felt like I was very vulnerable at the time, so when they showed up, it was kind of like conversating with, somebody that had sympathy for what I was going through. It was just such a terrible time for me while the other woman was pregnant. So it was during all that time when she just had the baby. So yes, I was very upset.
At him, at Charles Adelson.
Yes.
And do you believe the investigators played on your emotions?
Yes.
Now, let's go in the months and the years prior to that. You had seen about this case in the media, right?
Yes.
In fact, at one point in time, they confused you with Miss Magbanua, and the news posted pictures of you online.
Right, and at that time also, I didn't even know about the case, so they took whatever I said and spun it around. And
between you somehow being dragged into it and also you dating Charles Adelson, who was in the middle of it, you then began to look at a lot of the media stuff, right?
Yes.
And you were well versed on the case when you started talking to law enforcement in July of 2018, right?
Right, they advised me of the case right there in front of his house when they showed up.
But what I'm getting at is that you knew about the case well from the media, right?
No, I never knew about this case at all until I pulled up to his house that day, and the person outside told me about it.
It will help me understand this because I'm getting a little bit confused. That day that the media pulled up in front of the house, that was well before law enforcement came and met with you, right?
About a year ago, we were still together then, yes.
When you say a year ago, you're not talking about a year from today, you're talking about 2017, a year prior to the statement?
Yes.
All right, so 2017, you get confronted by the media. They put your picture on the internet. They confuse you with Miss Magbanua. You then get involved in all the media, and a year later, you then have this conversation with law enforcement, right?
Right.
And at that time, you're really mad at him.
Yes, I was everything like depressed. horrible.
All right. Let's go to the final topic. Prosecution asked you about how his mood changed at one point in time. He was, yeah, I think your words were that he was stressed and irrational. Is that correct?
Right.
Would you agree with me that it was obvious through the media, through everything that you had seen, through Ms. Kappelman herself on TV, that they were trying to build a case against Charles Adelson and Catherine McBanoa?
Definitely.
One brief second, Your Honor.
Good night.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Redirect.
Ms. Inchinda, you mentioned that prosecutors were at your door. What prosecutors were at your door?
I don't know because I didn't answer the door.
Do you have any reason to think that I or any member of the prosecution team ever came to your door?
I don't think you would physically come. It was probably a server or something.
Like law enforcement?
Right.
Okay. I was looking at the beginning of the taped interview, and investigator Sherry Bennett, who was the female that came to interview you, indicates at the very beginning of the transcript that she's putting the date on the...
Objection hearsay?
She's putting the date down. You know, today is 7/24/2018 at 6:30 p.m. We're here with June. Okay, so we can just go ahead and talk. I just want to put the date down. What did you think? That didn't clue you in that she was recording the interview?
Well, I would think she was taking notes.
Okay, did you see her taking notes?
I can't really remember. I believe there was paper and pen around. Someone was notating.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
All right, any juror have a question of this witness? We'll go sidebar. I believe you indicated you talked to Charlie Adelson yesterday. Is that correct?
Yes.
And was that by phone or in person?
It was by text message on the phone.
Okay, so did he text you or did you text him?
Yesterday. I'm sorry, I was flying. I'm trying to think of exactly yesterday. Yesterday I texted him first because I left work.
What?
I texted him I was leaving work at lunchtime to go on a plane to come here. So I texted him first to let him know.
And did he respond?
Yes.
And is that the only communication you had, or did you talk to him also?
We just talked throughout the night, like, you know.
Texting back and forth?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to yesterday, when was the last time you had talked to him, either in person or by text or email?
Maybe 2 days before or the night before.
Ms. Kappelman, any follow-up?
No follow-up.
Garcia?
Give me 1 second, Jeff. Nothing else, Mr. Garcia, Judge.
McBanum?
No questions, John.
All right, you can step down. Do we need to keep her any further?
No, sir.
Don't need her any further.
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused. Go about your business.
Thank
Step
you.
the next witness, please.
The state calls Linda Mascaro.